You join us here at the Formula K circuit for coverage of the Rotax Max Challenge African Open 2020, and this will be coverage of the Senior Max class. In qualifying, it was Delon Thompson, a name we haven't seen for a while in Senior Max on pole, ahead of Akil Alibi, Cohen Ban, Riley Horner, all the way from KwaZulu-Natal.
Delon, many moons away, you used to be number one man, yeah.
Yeah, about 5 years back, I was Senior Max South African champion. Decided to come have some fun at the African Open and see what we could do.
It seems like it's going to be you and Alibi dueling out for that ticket.
Yeah, yesterday during the regional we had quite close races. Alibi pipped me. However, hopefully today we can push to get that extra time and go through to Portugal.
It's all about that last race. Nothing else matters. The last race is all, but the first two determines the grid. How important is it? How easy is it to overtake on this track?
Luckily this track there's quite a few overtaking opportunities, so we're going to hopefully just get a good position for the final and take it from there.
Akil, second on the grid for qualifying, but the first two races is just all about getting a grid position for the final race, and the final race is what it's all about, and you have won this before.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit tough with everyone on pace this weekend. Second is not too bad. I think I can get first. It's going to be tough trying to come to the front. I mean, obviously the first two races are just to get a good position for the final heat, because the final heat is what counts today.
You did what you have to do yesterday, so basically yesterday was practice for today's race.
Yeah.
And you have an African win under your belt before, so you know what it's all about.
Yeah, African Open it's a big one for everyone because it's the only chance to win a ticket unless you won the national championship. Yeah.
And here we go, right into the start of race one we go, the Senior Max field. Nice to see Delon Thompson back on the grid, a 2015 Senior Max National Championship winner, and he's currently leading out the gaggle of drivers into turn two. Cohen Ban, their name we haven't seen for ages either, coming to represent Western Province here at the African Open. He's there in third place. Just behind him, a name we're more accustomed to seeing now on the main circuit in Polo Cup is Kwanda Mokoena, coming under pressure from current 2020 Rotax National Champion, that is Tate Bishop. Riley Horner doing very well there from KwaZulu to hang on to the back of Tate Bishop as they head up into a section of the track we haven't seen. It is the top hand of the circuit into a very nice little Laguna Seca corkscrew after the section of 180s. So through the first 180 they go. It is still that of Delon Thompson out in the lead. We focus on Kwanda Mokoena though, through the right hander and down into the WeatherTech Laguna Seca corkscrew corner, and through this fantastic flat out right hander onto the main straight. Probably the longest straight in the country at the moment though here at Formula K, as they top speeds of over 100 k's an hour into turn one they go. It looks like Cohen Ban down the inside, but the switchback was done by Akil. A little bit of a crowding on the exit though, and that's forced Cohen Ban right back behind the driver he mechanic for throughout the season, and now his teammate Tate Bishop, both of them from the Angry Jeep stable and being assisted by RKT. But it is the RKT man we focus on now in second place ahead of Kwanda Mokoena. Kwanda Mokoena piloting a CRG for the first time in I've actually never seen him outside of anything but an OTK. But Akil Alibi definitely got the pace though. We saw the gap between himself and Delon Thompson. He's closed that down with 5 laps to go of this 10-lap race, and it's going to be a 2-horse race here for the lead. Delon Thompson holding off Akil Alibi. Now remember, race 1 and race 2 don't count towards the African Open. There are no points for it, just positions, as Akil Alibi sticks it down the inside and gets the move done in Delon Thompson. There are no points awarded. Only your starting position for the final is what counts at the moment. But Delon Thompson, nice aggressive move from the outside there. Akil had no idea where he was coming from, but Akil, contact between the two of them. Delon runs over the back wheel of him. That's going to be a nose cone penalty for the CRG pilot, and he's going to lose a place to Tate Bishop. As much as you're not worried about where you finish in these heat races, you still need to finish relatively high up to maintain a good starting position for the final. But looking at the moving and shaking going on through this, it looks as though starting position isn't going to be too important.
The starting position of Heat 2 is determined by the fastest lap in Heat 1, and then they accumulate Heat 1 and Heat 2 to give you the grid for the final.
So a finishing position, as much as important for points, it's also important to get in a good lap time, because you want to start higher up in race 2 to maintain that points haul and get you onto the front pack of the start of the final. But as we were talking now, Cohen Ban has managed to go around the outside of Kwanda Mokoena into turn 1 and get the inside for turn 2 and move himself up into second place. Cohen Ban last raced in X30 a few years ago and is now back in the Senior Max, also from the Western Province. But we go back to Akil Alibi now, checking out there in the front.
This track, the first time at now, we see the full 1.5, 1.6 kilometer layout using for this event. This is comparable to what the guys will experience in Europe. It's a brilliant circuit, brilliant facility. It's fast and flowing, and it gives the guys a sense of what they will see when they arrive, very much like in Portimao. Also a bit undulated, a bit of up and down, and fast flowing corners and overtaking opportunity.
Yeah, it looks like overtaking are plenty on the circuit. We were worried about that and worried about the racing here, but definitely wide enough to stick your nose in certain places where the driver in front wouldn't be expecting it. But as we say, that Akil Alibi, having a look to see how close Cohen Ban is, because Cohen Ban has definitely brought the gap in. But another interesting thing on the circuit is the actual surface itself. It's been quite difficult for us to get the kart set up right for the surface, because it does tend to rubber in, but not into the point that we have at other circuits where the cars start to bounce and hop. But there is a lot of grip on the circuit, so chassis setup was difficult, but not for the team running Akil Alibi. He's managed to eke out a gap on the final lap ahead of Cohen Ban. Cohen Bam as they head up into the second part of the circuit. This we've seen the Bambinos do earlier, but where they turn right, we now turn left and do the rest of the circuit. Another K of tar left for this lap. 1.6K long circuit, lap times of 1 minute and 13 seconds. So pretty much what they'll be expecting when they get to the European events, and obviously the World Final in Portimao being held in January. But it looks like Akil Alibi's got the breathing room he needs as he heads into the last quarter of this lap. Into the corkscrew he goes with about 2 kart lengths over Cohen Bam, and he will be taking the race 1 honors. Akil Alibi taking out the victory ahead of Cohen Bam, Kwanda Mokoena in third place, and Delon Thompson in fourth. Rounding it out though, Riley Horner from KwaZulu-Natal there in the fifth place. But some great racing throughout, and I'm looking forward to the final of these Senior Maxes. Heading now into race 2. Straight away we go. The fastest lap from race 1 puts the grid for race 2, and we see Tate Bishop up there in third, Kwanda Mokoena in fourth, Delon Thompson in fifth. But the front two, Akil Alibi and Cohen Bam, we used to seeing them out in front, and that is what it is at the moment. Cohen Bam getting out the whole shot ahead of Akil Alibi, and just behind them Delon Thompson. Kwanda Mokoena getting past Tate Bishop though, and keeping in that fourth place. He goes for the inside line on his CRG teammate and manages to get himself past Delon Thompson into that right hand hairpin. He's under attack though into the second part of the hairpins, and that has moved Delon Thompson down to fifth place. So from third to fifth in 2 corners. If this is what the race is going to be like in race 2, I can't wait to see what it's going to be like in the final. But our 2 protagonists from heat 1 are the same again in heat 2. This time the order is reversed though. It's Cohen Bam ahead of Akil Alibi on the opening lap. Cohen Bam just opening the radiator flap there to control the temperature for the engines.
Of course, we have a situation of Alibi, still a junior, but this year, due to his growth spurt he had, him and Tate Bishop had to get out of junior karts because they were too heavy and get into senior max kart. Tate Bishop, a 14-year-old, winning the senior max title, and Alibi, a 15-year-old. So you have these young guys who could still be juniors racing here with guys who are 20, 21, and 22 years old.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to look at. The 2 tallest drivers in the field are our 2 youngest in the field. So whatever they're feeding them back in the Western Province and up near Vereeniging, please let us know. Let's get it in our water here, because I think the South African rugby team could use some of it. But they head now into their hairpin. It's Cohen Bam actually looks like to be holding up Akil Alibi, and this has allowed Kwanda Mokoena to edge closer. Kwanda Mokoena being assisted by Dane van Heerden. Dane van Heerden, a driver we used to see in Senior Max last year, not competing this year, working as a mechanic and engineer in the CRG EMR team and assisting Kwanda Mokoena this weekend. So imparting some knowledge there on Kwanda and allowing him to get onto this front group. We saw only 2 of them in race 1. It's now 3 of them fighting it out for the win, and through the corkscrew they go, using as much curb as possible. Get the run down to the corkscrew through this right-hander, and the run down this long straight. Slipstream is massive down here. We see Tate Bishop having to bend himself over in half just to get down below that steering wheel. But Riley Horner also looking to find some pace here in the second heat. He's hanging on to this front group as Tate Bishop says to him, come on Riley, let's get ourselves up into the front there. Let's push each other forward and hopefully make some positions when they're arguing, and the fight for position starts here at the front. We can only expect that is exactly what will happen. Cohen Bam a little bit slower out of that hairpin up towards the right-hander, and that would have allowed Akil a little bit of a breath of hope to get past. But with 8 laps to go, 2 laps left of this race, this 10-lap race, we see the front 2 just breaking away slightly from Kwanda Mokoena and Delon Thompson. It looks as though they are battled in their own little group fight there, with Tate Bishop trying trying to capitalize and move himself up into the top 3. You're going to want to be at least inside the top 3 for the start of the final. You never know what might happen, but it always helps to be closer to the front than closer to the rear. But as Cohen Bam with a little bit of a gap on Akil Alibi, it's almost a carbon copy of the first heat, just happening now in this second heat. So Cohen Bam getting a little bit of a gap on Akil Alibi. So the team there running Cohen obviously realize, oh, big mistake from Kwanda Mokoena. He runs wide. Delon Thompson's going to try and go around the long way into the corkscrew. Is he going to make a stick? Kwanda deep down the inside and leaving Delon Thompson with absolutely no room of circuit. And sorry, mate, this is my corner. Please evacuate stage left. And that has allowed Tate Bishop to gain a place, move himself into up into fourth, ahead of that of Delon Thompson. Delon very angrily showing Riley Horner, give me a bit of help here and help me get back onto Kwanda Mokoena. But it looks like Kwanda's nose cone could have been dislodged in that incident. So I don't think the final results are going to reflect what we are seeing here. But none of those troubles up front for Cohen Bam. The only thing he needs to be concerned about now is that of Akil Alibi. A cheeky look over his shoulder, a little slow look. Let's not make the man behind think I'm worried. I just want to have a look where he is. So a little bit of a cheeky look there from Cohen to see where Akil Alibi is. But it doesn't look like he's going to be close enough to have a dive into the first of the 180s. This is the final lap, so if he was going to do a dive, it's either here or into the following right-hander. Cohen getting a great exit out of there though, gaining a kart length. Looks like they've got the gear ratio just right for this point of the race as they head down into the corkscrew. It's going to be Cohen Bam who's going to take the win here ahead of Akil Alibi. One corner to go, don't see much going wrong here, and it'll be Cohen Bam across the line ahead of Akil Alibi. And just behind, lap to go. Sorry, I was mistaken. Still one more lap to go. So I assumed Cohen had done enough to take the win, but I've assumed incorrectly though. One more lap still to go for these two, and it's Cohen Bam. He's still got that half a car length ahead of Akil Alibi. Akil trying as he might to get in on him. He does get closer through this section of the lap. Is he close enough to have a dive though? Not close enough just yet. Tate Bishop though moved himself ahead of Delon Thompson into the hairpin. And whether or not he holds onto that until the flag remains to be seen. But we focus now on the battle for the lead. It's 249, a number I'm very familiar with and a number I raced with in 2007. Cohen Bam just ahead of Akil Alibi. As we see, I did mention before, in this section of the lap, Cohen's kart does seem to have a little bit more bottom end, and he gains another kart length up the hill there on Akil Alibi, and will hopefully, so I don't look too silly, come across the line now to take the checkered flag and the win here in race 2 ahead of Akil Alibi. There's the checkered flag, and it's Cohen Bam ahead of Akil Alibi. Just behind him though, Delon Thompson manages to take away a third place ahead of Tate Bishop and Kwanda Mokoena. Riley Horner rounds out the top 6 once again, this time finding a little bit more pace, and hopefully he'll be there in the final, the third and final heat. Here we are. It is the final of the African Open 2020. Whoever wins this will be African Open 2020 champion. Great start there for Cohen Bam. It looks like he controlled it nicely, kept it nice and slow, and that's bogged Tate Bishop down. Sorry, not Tate Bishop, but Akil Alibi, and he's dropped all the way down to 4th. So Cohen Bam holding them up quite a bit. A little bit of wily experience being brought out there ahead of the juniors, and you can just see he managed to slow them down, oil up a couple of plugs, and get a great run ahead. Kwanda Mokoena though, deep down the inside, straight away on Cohen Bam. He knows he hasn't had the pace, so he's had to do the dive early, but he's overshot it, and there's big contact between himself and Tate Bishop, so being a little bit overly aggressive in the beginning, and what looked like it could have been a 0-to-hero moment for Kwanda Mokoena has gone from 0 to 0 for him, and he is miles off the pack now at the end of this first lap. There's a name we haven't seen there for a while up there in the Burl Art Card. That's Daniela Muzlopi. The young lady from KZN is up into 4th place here in the final. She makes a mistake out of the hairpin there before the corkscrew, and Tate Bishop is all over the back of her. Great switchback there from Tate Bishop to get the move done on Daniela Muzlopi. So unfortunately, Daniela, a little bit inexperienced. She's only her first year of a national competition, and she's been done in there slightly by a little bit more experienced Tate Bishop and our current 2020 Max Challenge champion. Heading now though through this little section of the circuit, quite tricky. It's quite a bit of a direction change and a massive uphill before you head down into the hairpin. So if you don't quite get the setup of the card right, it's going to show through that section. But a man who doesn't need to worry just yet about chassis setup is Cohen Bam. It looks like he's got the pace early on. He's caught a massive gap on Delon Thompson. So Delon might be a little bit wise here and use Cohen Bam to get back onto Akil rather than fight him. It'll be interesting to see. But we can see how these carts are set up differently throughout the track. But it is Cohen Bam that's moved himself up into second place this 4 laps of 12. And it's going to be interesting to see what he can do now. Is he going to attack early or wait until the end of this final to have a go at Akil Alibi? He knows DeLon Thompson's there. He knows DeLon Thompson's fast. And whether or not he's going to attack early remains to be seen. Akil Alibi, though, forcing his hand early on, going defensive early and starting to slow the pack down. So that's probably going to force the hand of Cohen Bam. He's going to have to make a move early on because of this bringing the group into it. Tate Bishop just there as well, so it's going to bring everybody into this fight. If this continues, it's a little bit early on, in my opinion, for the race for defensive driving to come out now, and especially this aggressively. Cohen Bam going to the inside again. Tate Bishop Akil Alibi holding the line, slowing it down again, slowing it down in the apex, and it's just forcing the lap times to tumble for these 3 drivers and allow everybody else to get back into the party. What is a 3-way battle is soon going to be a 4- and 5-way battle if we're not careful now. Cohen Bam definitely looking like his mindset has changed. Did look like he was just going to stay there, but now he goes down the inside into turn 1. Oh, contact between the 2 of them. It looks like Akil Alibi just gone over the nose cone of Cohen Bam. Cohen hand up. It looks like the nose cone's off, so I don't think we'll be seeing Cohen Bam finishing this one out. So contact between the 2 of them. Hand up to either question or apologize. I think that's more of a question than an apology from Cohen Bam. But that's going to end his final hopes. Radiator broken as well, so I don't think we'll be seeing him back. Oh, it's so difficult to see from that angle. But it looks like Cohen trying to squeeze Akil down to the inside there, and Akil maybe just getting the back end out on the brakes and riding over the front wheel of that of Cohen. I'm not so sure if I can see any malicious intent from that, but difficult angle to decide. And this has allowed DeLon Thompson into the lead of this African Open. We know Tate Bishop has got pace though, so will Tate Bishop be able to close the gap there on DeLon Thompson and make this a battle again, or is it going to be one of those procession type races with DeLon Thompson able to take out the win? Currently doing 102.8s and 102.7s throughout this lap, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of lap times they get down to. 106.8, not 102. So 106.8 is currently the lap time that they are doing at the moment. Tate Bishop able to stay with him. It'll be interesting to see what happens later on in this race and how they've set these carts up. But as we go on to the final lap, DeLon Thompson, a 106.2, 0.3 of a second quicker than Tate Bishop, his nearest rival, and he is able to eke out a massive gap of 3.1 seconds there on Tate Bishop to take out what will be a victory here at the 2020 African Open for DeLon Thompson, a previous winner in Senior Max, a previous visitation to the World Finals, and you'll be going again. DeLon Thompson, 226 for CRG, takes the top honors here at the African Open ahead of Tate Bishop. Riley Horner from the KZN, great drive for him to move up into 3rd place. Akil Alibi trying to make a comeback to 4th ahead of Kwanda Mokwena in 5th. Dadiele Mazlobe in 6th, and unfortunately for Cohen Bam, he was unable to finish. But a great victory for DeLon Thompson, taking the win and giving our cameraman something to look at of his celebrations on the way to the pits. But a great job from DeLon Thompson.
DeLon, 4 years later, 4 years out of kart, but looking forward to going to Portugal.
Basically, it's just like walking again. You just get back in the kart, and I was happy. The first few heats were a bit of a struggle, but then the final heats, we were doing consistently the quickest times, and I'd just like to thank everyone that helped me and helped me get here to this race in Portugal.
What are the expectations, having been out so long? What are the expectations?
Well, hopefully I can do a few more testing sessions here and get ready for Portugal. I want to go there and win. Nothing less than that will do.